two balls at the end that.
Well, that weren't great balls by Sam.
They weren't, but especially that last one. Terry McLaurin, you got to catch that. I've watched McLaurin.
Just playing Philly close. Like both.
It says something Philly secondary is good.
Man,
Philly secondary is just not good.
They're really not.
Well,
we kind of knew that coming
those teams though that always play you tight.
How about Philly with the tush push fake counter? Unstoppable.
You knew that was coming.
Unstoppable.
Well, in that same game too, they ran the counter, but they also fumbled it at the goal line.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts something. The only way that the Eagles don't get that is if you fumble the snap.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way.
Yeah. I just don't know if you're at the goal line and you're that close. We saw a college team, I'm pretty sure, do it. First to goal, second to goal. They're out to one. You got to jump the. Have to jump the.
Well,
pile.
Florida. I thought Florida. I was wondering if somebody was going to do this. Even before the tush push, the QB sneak. I hate calling it the tush push. David, don't allow me.
Yeah,
to say
see, no, y'all ragged on me. For
no,
it the
don't
other day.
allow
What's
me.
wrong with y'all?
Quarterback.
Don't allow me. That's what I'm saying. Like we're gonna have the tush push and the ass pass. Like I'm not.
I like
down
that
this road. I bet you do.
College, baby.
But Florida snapping the ball through the quarterback's legs while he's under center to the running back, but they had a pass built off of it.
Yeah.
Why would you not just turn it into a race to the sideline? Because if you look on the right side, there's nobody there. Everybody's squishing. It was a perfect call, but the pass built off of it. Now you're doing too much.
It was 4th and inches.
Now you're doing too much.
Which led Dogs fans to meme that out and call Billy Napier Sunbelt Billy.
Yeah.
They're calling him.
I bet it looks really good in practice. I bet it looks really good in practice.
I'm telling you, if you just would have gotten the snap in that Florida-Georgia game and he would have just taken off to the right, everybody sucked in. The guy that was running to the flat carried the defender outside. That's the only reason that defender stayed outside, who ended up kind of recognizing what was going on. So I like the thought, just simpler, right? You got a little too cute. You could have got just cute enough, but you got too cute.
Yeah, then you got sun for the rest of the game.
Well, yeah, and then you met Thanos. Will Levis tosses 4 touchdown passes as the Titans beat the Falcons. The Rangers and Diamondbacks split the first 2 games of the World Series. Game 3 is tonight. And LSU heads to Alabama this weekend for an epic SEC West showdown in what is a loaded slate of college football. I'm Jake Crane. It's Monday. Let's run up tempo. Somebody get excited. It's Crane and Company. Now, everyone that makes up the college football realm waits all offseason hoping that our team gets a chance to win the whole damn thing. We check for every update. We jabber back and forth with our rivals and opponents about whose team is a contender, whose team is a pretender. It literally consumes us, and we love it. But the main thing we ask for, the only thing we really want, is for a chance at that must-win game late in the season. That one game to get us to the next big game. Now, this Saturday in T-Town, it's one of those moments for both LSU and Alabama. And we know LSU already has 2 losses, so it's do or die. It's not even close. Bama also has a loss, and a second one, while it wouldn't totally eliminate them from the race, would severely damage their championship aspirations. Now, this is the game that will define how high the ceiling of either one of these teams can actually be. It will either be the catalyst toward a legitimate chance to win the whole thing, or the last chance your team had slipping slowly out of their grasp. And this matchup on paper and from a game tape situation could not be juicier. LSU has the best offense in the country right now. They rank number 1 nationally in yards per play at almost 8, which is ridiculous. But Bama is a legitimate problem on defense, where they also rank in the top 10 in America in yards per play given up. So it's strength versus strength. Technically, weakness versus weakness. Something has to give. But we all know this game won't be decided on paper, won't be decided by talking heads. It will come down to players, not play calls. Matchups, not spreadsheets. Can Jaden Daniels have his Heisman moment? Or will Jalen Milroe continue to hit big plays in crucial situations against an LSU defense that still has more questions than the Riddler taking the ACT? Now, we will see. Will an unsung hero step up? We've seen it in the past. Either way, it's a must-win moment, Tide and Tiger fans. 2 shall enter the arena, but only one will survive. And I, for one, Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Darkness shall bind.
Yeah, one ring to rule them all. You already know. David, former Michigan, about said Western Michigan, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crane. See, I kind of mixed it up a little bit. Guys, and I can go down the slate. There's some really, really, really good matchups this weekend, including sneaky matchups. We have some rivalry games as well. Got the battle for the Commander-in-Chief trophy over there, Air Force and Army. But when you look at this LSU-Alabama game, and just looking at the numbers, like I said, on paper, it's fantastic. You've got an LSU offense that is ridiculous. I'm going to go through these Alabama defensive statistics real quick. Alabama's number 13 in the country in points given up per game, 15th in opponent yards given up per game. They're 8th in the country in opponents' points per play, 10th in the country in opponent yards per play. All right, now you go look at LSU's offense. All right, they're 2nd in points per game at almost 44, 1st in yards per game at 543, 3rd in points per play, number 1 in yards per play, number 6 in third down conversions, number 37 in red zone scoring. But this is a mega matchup. All right, we have a unstoppable moving object facing an immovable object, however you want to put that. Jaden Daniels versus this Alabama defense. But I do think, David, whenever we have sides of the ball that are going to actually get to play each other on the field that are the strengths of each team, I think you can say Alabama's defense is still their strength because they've been consistently inconsistent on offense. Just look at Tennessee first half and then second half. It's those secondary or even tertiary phases that end up deciding the game, right? Alabama's offense versus this LSU defense. That's a huge question mark. But also Alabama has Will Reichert, who has not missed a kick all year. You look at the special teams aspect of this. Right now, I don't have a great feel for it, David. I feel like home field advantage, obviously we know what that means, but LSU is so good on offense. Can they get enough stops defensively? Can Jalen Milroe make a couple of those mistakes when it comes down to a two or three possession game? Man, I can't wait to keep breaking this one down.
Well, that's the big question, and I'm so glad you talk about special teams because when, all things are even on a football field, that's one side of the ball or one aspect of the game that gets overlooked. I know not for you because you coach special teams, but we circle this game every season. We talk about it all off season, and you really don't need to know anything else about this rivalry other than both of these teams take their bye week the week before they play each other, which I think is always a really fun fact. You're talking about Jaden Daniels and the LSU offense. I think they're going to be able to score and move the ball on what is Alabama's strength, this defense. But I keep going back to the way LSU played in the Ole Miss game. Jaden Daniels threw for 414 yards in that game, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and LSU rushed for 223, and they still lost to Ole Miss. Ole Miss rushed for 317 in that game against that LSU defense. Now, we've been talking most of the season now about how LSU's defense has been the biggest surprise because it doesn't seem to be a personnel problem, right? Like when you have...
They don't have bad players.
Harold Perkins Jr. and you have Mason Smith and you have all these guys running around. It doesn't seem to be a personnel problem, which tells me like any week could be the week that the LSU defense figures it out. That's not the case for some sides of the ball that are bad at a lot of schools. So I'm looking at this LSU defense like, could this be the week that they actually figure this out? Maybe they can get home to Jalen Milroe. Maybe they can shut down the run game a little bit for Alabama. But if things go the way they've been going, Alabama's going to be able to score also, and they're going to have the whole home field advantage. The second half of that Florida State game, which we live streamed together, we were watching it together, Florida State wasn't hitting these huge, big shots down the field. They had the Keon Coleman slant route for like a 50-yard touchdown that they hit, right? But FSU came out in the second half and said, we're just going to run the football on you. We're just going to out-physical you. If Alabama can come out and do that, then I don't know if the game's going to be particularly close. The LSU defense at some point has to bow up and get strong.
Well, and Blaine, I want to run through these LSU defensive numbers because they're not good. And we always talk stats and box scores and things like that. They give you a preview of the movie. They don't tell you exactly the whole movie or what the whole movie is about. But we're to the point now in the season where, we're going into week 10. These numbers do mean something. We're starting to find out who teams really are. Opponent points per game. LSU ranks 84th in the country, giving up almost 29. Opponent yards per game, 92nd in the country. Opponent points per play, 89th in the country. Opponent yards per play, Blaine, 106 in the country. And here's where it just rips your guts out. and this is where I think the difference in this game could come down to. Opponent third down conversion percentage. LSU is 106 in the country, giving up almost 45%. And then opponent red zone scoring, LSU is dead last in the country, giving up 100% of the time when the opponent gets in the red zone, they score. I'm not saying just touchdowns, but they score in general. When you look at this Alabama-LSU game, Blaine, we watched LSU be able to move the ball against Florida State in between the 20s, but when they, and I know it was the first game of the year, but when they got into the red zone, that defense stiffened up. They weren't able to get the ball in there. I don't think LSU is going to have a problem, even with Kool-Aid McKinstry and the Globinauts they got run around on defense. I don't think LSU is going to have a problem moving it in between the 20s. But when you get down inside that 20, inside that 15, inside that 10, I think it's going to have to be Jaden Daniels creating on the outside, because I don't think LSU is going to be able to line it up and just run it down Alabama's throat like they have in some of these previous games. I'm telling you right now, the red zone is where this game's going to come down to. This is where a lot of games are won and lost, but especially this game that I think is going to be tight. Explosive offense, really good defense, and even with LSU defensively, you get Alabama down there. Can you hold them to field goals to keep yourself in it? That's a fascinating storyline.
I think this game is going to be about red zone, obviously, and it's going to be like who can get off the field on third down. Both these defenses. If it won an Alabama team, this is the most disciplined you need to play up front against a guy like Jaden Daniels. Because look, even on the road or at home, Jaden Daniels knows how to score against Bama. He does. He's athletic enough, and you go through the year of what he's doing right now. I mean, he's putting up Heisman numbers. I kind of go back to the Texas game a little bit when you look at Alabama. Texas kind of got home against Jalen Monroe a good bit in that game. So if you're LSU, Alabama hasn't been a great running football team. To their standard, they haven't. If you're LSU, what's your game plan on defense? Are you heating them up? Are you sitting man-to-man against Bama? Do you trust your DBs? You can't. So in my opinion, you got to go get Monroe, and you got to go get him early. If LSU wants to be in this football game, they need to come out and have a hot start. That's what it's like, having a guy like Jaden Daniels at your quarterback that you can trust. You have Malik Neighbors, who I don't think anybody on this defense is going to be able to cover. Can Alabama stay disciplined up front enough to not let Jaden get outside the pocket and create? Because if he starts doing that early and he starts getting in his bag early, I can see where you just need to have an above-average game on defense for LSU. Well, that's what you need. You're going to be able to score points against Bama. I don't think their secondary is good enough to run with you throughout the game.
Well, the matchup, Kool-Aid McKinstry and Malik Neighbors, I can't wait to see that one. The problem with LSU is they also have Brian Thomas Jr. They also have Mason Taylor. I don't think you can stop Jaden Daniels from getting outside the pocket. What I think you can do is it's almost like having insurance. You just try and mitigate the damage, right? If Jaden Daniels is going to get it, he's going to get outside the pocket some. He's just got that much wiggle. He's that fast. He's going to take off some. But can you not let him hit those humongous plays down the field when it turns into a scramble drill? When he does get outside the pocket, can you turn those 60-yard plays into 15-yard plays? And I don't think you do that by doing one thing. I don't think you do that by saying we are going to heat his ass up the whole night, or we're going to rush 3 and drop 8 and put a spy on him. I think you mix it up. I think you give him a totally mixed bag. I don't think you let him see the same thing more than twice. And if you do show him the same thing pre-snap, you do something different pretty much every single time. I think it is a wave of confusion that I don't think you stop Jaden Daniels in this offense. I think you slow them down to the point where you're not giving up these humongous plays. Because what's the recipe to beat Bama? You have to have players make incredible plays. Brian Thomas Jr. going to have to go up and get a couple 50-50 balls. Malik Neighbors is going to have to break somebody off 2 or 3 times. Logan Diggs, this running back group, they're going to have to be able to run through tackles and get those 3rd and 2s, maybe when they get hit at the line of scrimmage, and be able to fall forward. It is going to take all hands on deck, everybody making big-time plays to win this game, especially on the road. Because the thing about this, the scariest thing about this Bama team is the same thing that scares the Alabama fans. You just don't know. They're consistently inconsistent. I can watch one half of Alabama football and be like, this team is they're just good. They're not great. They're not elite. They're not excellent. Then I'll watch another half and be like, oh my God, Alabama may be the best team in the country. And as a fan, that worries you because you're seeing something different all the time and you don't know what to expect. But as an opponent, as a competitor, it scares you to death, because I don't know if we're going to have a duel and you're going to pull out an AR-15 or a butter knife. Like, that's the unknown is scary to me, which shows you it's like Bama they can actually figure it out. And if they do figure it out, they're pretty tough to stop. Jalen Monroe gets in these, zones where he just freaks out for a quarter and a half. That's what I find the most fascinating is the unknown here.
Well, how did Texas do it against them? They hit big shots over the top down the field. We were talking about a lot of those, double move concepts and the ping concepts, short double post, all that kind of stuff. The thing with LSU and Jane Daniels, they can hit the shots over the top, but then also Jane Daniels is such a threat to move out of the pocket and to scramble. So I'm wondering if part of the strategy here may be even saying like, hey, let's don't give up the big shot. Maybe it's just let's try our best to keep them from scoring even when they do hit the shots, right? Because if we can at least get them in the red zone without having scored the touchdown, the field will shrink for
field
us,
goals.
Right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you can hold them to field goals, give our offense a chance here with Jalen Moreau, who's improved every single week in almost every metric that we measure a quarterback by. He's improved week in and week out against a defense that's already suspect. And maybe when you're talking about the red zone battle, like you and Blaine were talking about, it's that Alabama ends up scoring touchdowns while LSU has to settle for field goals, even if they somehow win the total yardage battle or they win the big play shot battle, but they don't score touchdowns off of it.
Well, Alabama's been vulnerable running the ball. I think if you're LSU, if you're LSU and you're Alabama defensively, I think that the recipe is somewhat similar. Just make Jalen Moreau beat you from the pocket. Like if Jaden Daniels is going to beat you, try and make Jaden Daniels beat you throwing. Right, and when he does get out of the pocket, try and mitigate the damage down the field. If he hits a 12-yard play on a scramble drill, he hits a 12-yard play. It's better than the 50-yard play. But right now, I think Bama's a 4-point favorite. The over/under is 60. The last time I saw it, I'm pulling it up right here on DraftKings. I tell you what, right now, as far as picking a side, I don't feel comfortable picking a side. The juice is on Alabama at -112. The over 60, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see the over.
Like if this game turns into a shootout, that's what LSU wants.
Mm-hmm.
They want you want to run a track meet. LSU's been running a track meet every game except the last 2 weeks against
I agree.
Army and Auburn. If it turns into that favors LSU, and LSU knows how to play at Tuscaloosa.
I think you're right. I think if this is in the 20s, Alabama wins the football game. But turning into a shootout, like I just said with Ole Miss, they lost that one 55-49. So they've lost.
Give yourself a chance in the fourth.
The -4, it kind of feels right to me. It seems like this will be a -2.5 Alabama spread by the time.
Yeah,
I won't take it higher.
It was
than
6.5 last week.
6.5.
It was 6.5 last week. Early
It's sitting at -4 right now. That seems like a little much. I think the hook under a field goal is a little more right.
We want to know what you think. We got live calls. We're opening that up at 7:15 a.m. Central, 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Maybe we should live stream the LSU Bama game, David.
Maybe.
What do y'all think? I don't know. We'll talk about it. We want to know what you think. Should we live stream it? By the way, speaking about live stream, whatever sport you love, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, whether it's hockey, doesn't matter. It's all on right now, and it's a lot more fun when you're in on the action, regardless of the sport. That's why our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating this great smorgasbord of sports time with an unbeatable offer because new customers can get $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing $5 down on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. The parlays on DraftKings, the football ones playing the first touchdown scorer, 3 of them to win $100K, and all 3 of them score the second touchdown, which means you're close, which means you're behind door number 2.
You were dialed in.
Just don't give me.
You're behind door number 2.
A little bit of hope.
But download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, because like I said, new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on the NBA. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. With our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, the crown is yours. And some of our merch can be yours. We're almost out of stuff in the merch store. We're going to unveil our new merch items, including one absolutely dope hoodie that you're going to want to have if you're a fan of Crane & Company or just bringing sports back in general. You're going to love this. We're excited to unveil it. We're going to do it this week, but we're going to put the link for the rest of our merch in the chat. Go check it out. It's a great way to help continue to grow the show. Rock it around, take pictures. We like to share it on social media as well. But let's get to the Booster Club.
Booster Club. All right, chat. Let's get after it. Let's go to Woo Pig. He says, #Ask Crane & Co. If LSU wins, does this lock up the Heisman for old Danny?
For Danny? Talking about Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to lock it up.
If they beat Bama.
Oh, just if they win.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not going to lock it up, especially if Washington beats USC. I think it's Michael Penix till it's not right now. But you have to have Heisman opportunities to have Heisman moments. What's a bigger Heisman opportunity than going into T-Town, being LSU, having a chance to get the inside track to the West? It's not look, this isn't a foregone conclusion, even if LSU wins by any stretch of the imagination when you look at their schedule. This just gives them a chance to stay in the hunt. The biggest question is if Bama does lose this game, that's their first SEC loss. That's 2 losses overall to LSU and Texas. Even if you win the West and let's say you beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, depending on what happens around you, same thing with LSU, could we see an SEC champion not get in? Not saying that will be the case, because we know the cannibalism that can take place in the Pac-12. We're seeing it in the Big 12. We're seeing it in the ACC. Mm-hmm. The Big 10, we know it's going to be Michigan or Ohio State. So it's going to make it a lot more interesting. But no, I don't think anything will be locked up after this.
Also, keep in mind, Ole Miss with 1 loss too. So if LSU beats Alabama, that's going to create that three-way
tie.
SEC West. But they play Texas A&M at home this weekend. So things are getting more and more interesting.
I'm telling you.
Let's go to Renee Lamont. She wants to know, will LSU be able to pressure Alabama like the Texas defensive line did?
I mean, they've got the athletes to be able to get back there, but I mean, Alabama's offensive line, we know. I want to make sure we give Texas credit for getting after the quarterback, not just getting to Milroe, but getting him on the ground, right? We said this a lot about with Colorado and who they were playing. It's one thing to face a defense that can move you off your spot, right? That can get you out of the pocket. It's another thing to face a defense that can rush 4, move you off your spot, get you out of the pocket, and get a guy that's athletic enough like Shadur Sanders or Jalen Milroe on the ground. I think I'm never going to doubt LSU's athletic ability. The question becomes twofold. 1, to get pressure, are you going to have to bring pressure? Because if you're going to have to bring pressure, you're going to have to rob Peter to pay Paul on the back end. And we've seen what Alabama's wide receivers have really come on and been able to do. We've watched Jermaine Burton slowly turning into big game Burton. We've seen Isaiah Bond kind of come into his own. We've watched Jalen Milroe get more comfortable. The second thing is that you have a similar situation if you're LSU to the Florida State game with Harold Perkins. What did you do with him against Florida State? You spied him for most of the game on Jordan Travis, and you really got nothing from it. What's the difference between Jalen Milroe and Jordan Travis? I think Jordan Travis kind of scrambles to throw a little bit more than Jalen Milroe does. I think that's a product of being an older player. If it's me, I'm going down swinging. If I'm going to go down, I'm going down because I brought Harold Perkins more times than I sat there and spied him. That doesn't mean you don't slow play him, which is basically a spy. That doesn't mean you can't bring, fire zones and things like that, delayed blitzes, delayed pressures, whatever. But I don't go exactly by the playbook I went against Florida State because I think they were a little bit too conservative.
LSU was running a 3-man front against Florida State.
Yeah, but they were using Harold Perkins as a
4-man
spy.
now, and Harold's starting to come and the bank guy. I don't know why we even had to get to this.
Well, I'm showing them. I'm showing them and I'm bringing them. I'm showing them and I'm dropping them. I'm showing pressure from this side with Harold P. and bringing it with some other swamp creature they got running around that LSU defense.
Doesn't it feel like on this one that everyone's talking about how bad LSU's defense is, and this is one of those games they just get galvanized and they overperform, and everyone's talking about how great LSU's offense is, so Alabama's defense just comes to play and we end up having a sort of a...
Oh, it's embarrassing.
I'm not talking about 9-6 version like we had back in the day. I'm just saying lower scoring than people think.
But have you been feeling like that about this LSU team the whole year? Like, sooner or later, their defense is going to figure it out, and they don't.
Yes, but like if there was ever a time to flip the script, to change the narrative, it would be embarrassment week in the locker room all week. If I'm a defensive coach, the whole week, I'm like, they keep saying it's going to be a shootout. They're saying we're terrible on defense. Are we really this bad on defense? Are you going to let them... You want to know how you change everybody's mind? Go get after Bama's ass and Bryant Denny.
And if Bryce Young were the quarterback over there, I wouldn't be saying that, right? Because the LSU getting galvanized in the locker room is only one half of the equation. I'm saying they're also playing against a young quarterback who, if you get after him and fluster him, you can create some turnovers. You can create an advantage. And you have the pass rusher. You have the personnel to be able to do something like that.
Do you feel like it's going to be just one way or the other? Either LSU's defense shows up, we see inconsistent Alabama with the penalties, or Alabama drops a 60-piece?
I do.
Doesn't it feel like that? I don't know if there's any in-between.
So if it's taking this long to galvanize y'all to get together, we're in trouble, fellas.
Well, they are in trouble. They've already dropped 2, and still we're talking about they could win the SEC West.
We should have got galvanized against Arkansas. We gave up 31.
All right, one more.
Let's go to... All right, we got Tommy. Let's go to Tommy here. He says, both these teams are really even. I don't think this game's going to be as deep as people are making it.
Even
are the same team, and they're very even. This game isn't as deep as everyone.
I wouldn't say they're the same team. I think they're the exact opposites in my opinion, to a certain extent. I feel like Alabama's strength is defensively, right? Not that the offense hasn't played well at times, but the most consistent part of Alabama's team has been their defense. The most consistent part of LSU's team has been their offense. The defense has kind of come and gone. They've more gone than in the good way. We've seen Alabama play a great half offensively, then play a bad half offensively. I think they're almost opposite. But I guess in theory, if you're saying these teams are half consistent being even, I guess, that's one way to look at it.
Look, it adds to the narrative that Brian Kelly said he came to the SEC because he wanted to beat Nick Saban and then did it in the first year.
Yeah.
Right?
Did people forget that?
Like a 1 point, what was it last year? 1 point on the 2-point conversion?
Yeah, it's 31-30, wasn't it?
I mean,
32-31.
This could be a last play of the game win, too.
It feels like it.
It does feel like
this game's always close.
But, I mean, this is just one of many great games. I want to move on. We got Kansas State at Texas. We've got Texas A&M at Ole Miss. We've got Notre Dame at Clemson. I mean, Missouri at Georgia. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. I mean, fellas, there's some really good games. Kansas at Iowa State's a good game. Washington at USC. Hell, even James Madison at Georgia State. I can't wait to watch that one. JMU, the 1 week I didn't take them, didn't cover. So good about it, which means it's coming back on. Did you take James Madison to cover? Bob?
Yes, I did, Jake. Hey, quickly, let me throw this in here. I know we're moving on, but Edward O. Nussbus Driver wants us to know that LSU's best cornerback and D lineman will probably be out versus Bama.
Over.
It's not good.
Over.
Let me completely change.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're LSU, and I know this may sound kind of counterproductive, but I would much rather at this point have two of my best defensive players out than two of my best offensive players out in this game. Because look, let's say, it's going to be a shootout, right? As much as a shootout as it can be with Alabama's defense, I don't see Alabama's defense coming in there and just totally shutting LSU down, right? I don't know. We'll see. Is this a game where if Jalen Monroe just doesn't screw it up, they win? Like if he just doesn't go out there and throw a pick six or look to the sideline when the ball's getting snapped?
It could be that way. Because like I said, I've already seen Jaden Daniels throw for 400 yards in a game, 4 touchdowns.
Dude, Jaden Daniels is so good, bro.
He is.
He's so good. He's playing at such an elite level.
God,
I think he's the best quarterback in the country.
You're just like,
yeah, what do you do? Where are you?
Dad, get out.
But I'll tell you what you do if you're wanting to make sure you got the best tailgate, if you want 100% American sourced meats. All right, if you want to be the person they walk around and say, hey, guess what? Todd did a hell of a job on the grill this past weekend, probably because the recipe and ingredients he was using was top-notch. And that's what we have with Good Ranchers. And every Halloween, you hear about dangers in your candy that your kids will get. Make sure you check it. But this year, the real tricks are in the meat aisle, and they want to take the trick out of the meat aisle. They're throwing in a treat for our listeners for $30 off your order with promo code BOOSTER at BOOSTER. That's $30 off at goodranchers.com. Guys, they got a pork box. They've got seafood. They've got the butcher's box, which is what I get. Steaks, chicken. It's fantastic. And you don't have to worry about where it comes from. It's from the good old USA, all right? Because lab-grown meat, it's growing more and more popular. I don't want any of that. I don't want any cloned steak.
No.
All right, I want real steak, all right, from the source. All right, foreign meat can be labeled as a product of the United States, and the mRNA vaccine developments on the rise for agriculture. Stay away from that. So take the mystery out of the meat aisle. Visit goodranchers.com. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to get $30 off with free express shipping on your box of America's best meat and seafood today. That's code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $30 off. Goodranchers.com. American meat delivered. All right, NFL.
Let's do it, boys. Will Levis threw 4 touchdown passes for the Tennessee Titans, even though they had the old school Houston Oilers jerseys on, which were just absolutely sick. But third quarterback ever in NFL history to throw 4 touchdowns in his debut, joining Fran Tarkenton and Marcus Mariota, and they were beauties.
Yeah, listen, congrats to Will Levis. We've got a long way to go. I've not been the biggest Will Levis guy. It's one game. He came out and balled. I mean, does anybody want to cover DeAndre Hopkins maybe? If you're the Falcons?
And the Falcons is one of the top 5 secondaries in the NFL.
Yeah, got absolutely, I mean, D-Hop looked like he hopped in the time machine. But we all know why they played like this and Will Levis played like this. It's the uniforms. Bring back the Oilers. Bring them back. I'm sorry. Like,
that's a dime.
I'm at the end of the day, is this not the best looking uniform in the NFL?
Yes.
Without a doubt. And the logo for the Oilers is so much better than the ones for the Titans. I already got a Oilers sweatshirt.
But it doesn't really work in Tennessee, right? I mean, I know
there's oil. Go to the
LA
gas station.
Lakers used to be the Minnesota Lakers, but would it really work as the Tennessee Oilers?
Yes.
Will it hit the same every weekend, though? Does it hit like this because they only bring it out once or a couple times?
You think it's like a McRib situation?
You know,
like the
everyone
McRib
gets
only
excited
when it comes
when the
back?
McRib
No.
comes
Do you
out.
see those jerseys?
I'm just saying.
Sick.
They're dope, but
Look, greatness is greatness. Bring them back.
Yeah.
Nashville Oilers, I don't care. Bring back the logo. Bring back the jersey. You want to win the Super Bowl? There you go. Look, they're making Will Levis like Dan Marino out here.
On Will Levis, though, he threw 4 touchdown passes. Ryan Tannehill had thrown 2 so far this season. 2.
Will
Did you
Levis,
feel the
young Ryan
energy?
Tannehill?
The energy just changed when he came in and threw that first touchdown.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh,
the whole
100%.
energy of the stadium and the team and everything. You got to play him now.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Oh, you
have
for
to
sure
play
you
him.
got to play him.
Like, that's your quarterback now, moving forward.
I'm saying he's just going to gas y'all up just to let y'all down.
Well, yeah, so let's say he throws 4 picks next week and no TDs, right? Like, don't you still have to run this experiment out? Because
for sure.
I mean, like, we've seen Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis. Both have had shots.
You need hope. What does every franchise need? They need hope. Even the worst team in the NFL. Hey, let's lose every game so we can go get Caleb Williams. You need hope, right? And when you're trying to move your franchise forward, or you're trying to move from, the duplex to the suburbs, you need that shining guy right there. There he is, Will Levis. Look, he dropped all the way down to us. Some people thought we were crazy for taking him. I still don't believe it. I got to see it over time. I've seen this movie before, right? But it's a great start. The uniforms are dope. I feel like you're undefeated right now in those uniforms. You should keep wearing them.
And you know what's great, too? They didn't spend a first-round pick on him.
No.
Right? They went O-line with the first-round pick, moved up to get him with that second pick in the second round. You got to be feeling good right now.
Yeah, and if you're Vrabel, you needed this.
Oh, yeah.
You needed this from just a job security standpoint to come out and a guy you picked late in the draft somewhat, who was projected to go a lot earlier, to come out and ball like
Some needs to work out.
Yeah, because not a lot of things are working out right now for the Titans.
We'll see if we can keep doing it.
Vikings, big win over a divisional opponent in the Packers, but Kirk Cousins feared he's torn his Achilles. Everybody wanted to mock this guy. You just mock him long enough, and now guess what? You get your wish. He's not going to be out.
Well, I mean, what is
to tear his Achilles?
Yeah,
Trust
you
me,
did.
that's the last
You
thing I
did.
want. Everyone's trying to be like me.
Look, typically I'd get excited if we were mentioning Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins in the same breath with all the Kirk Cousins slander I've had to deal with, but not this way. Not like this. I hate it for Kirk.
Yeah.
He's a punching bag by a lot of people who don't really look what's going on in the game. They just look an athletic white guy. It's probably his fault. That's typically what people do. But Kirk's playing at a really high level. The Vikings kind of hitting their stride. That's probably the most unfortunate part is the Vikings are starting to figure out a little bit, even with Justin Jefferson on the sidelines. Well, now, I mean, you're looking around, if you're the Vikings, now it's big trouble time. But everybody else in the NFC North looking at it like a chance to really go ahead and cement themselves. If you're the Detroit Lions, if there was ever a time, I mean, it's right now. Look around the rest of the division.
Vikings started 0-3, a win yesterday, moved them to 4-4. They don't really have a solid option right now.
Jaron Hall, baby.
Quarterback.
He can't do it. Jaron Hall can't do it.
I mean, and this statistically is Kirk Cousins was
Who do you go
off to
get?
one of his best years.
Who do you go get?
Not a lot of options walking around.
Trade deadline's tomorrow,
unless you
right?
want to pick up the phone.
Yeah, if you were going to do it.
If you're going to
Trade
pick up the
deadlines.
phone and call somebody, I mean, there's one guy you got to call.
Who you calling?
Reinhardt.
Ghostbusters?
It's on Tommy B.
Come on, man.
Brady
Come on.
going-
You got to call
Trying to have a
him.
serious
You
conversation.
got to call him.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you call
I'm
him?
going to call him too.
I said this.
You gotta call him.
I said this about the Jets, and you said I was nuts. The Jets, call Tom Brady. I said call Tom Brady when Aaron Rodgers went down, and you would have thought I was trying to break in and steal the Declaration of Independence. And the Jets legitimately have a Super Bowl winning defense.
Well, Aaron's coming back.
I mean, yeah, but that's
Kirk
beside
ain't
the
coming
point.
back.
It's beside the point.
Kirky ain't coming back. I just hope Kirk plays again.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's the only
Fitzy?
guy you could go
Fitzmagic?
call.
Speaking of
Play
draft
for
games,
yet another team.
There's got to be somebody out there.
Interesting yesterday when the Cowboys beat the Rams 43-20. That was the first time we've had that final score in NFL history.
yeah, I saw that.
All the games
I saw that
played,
little
43-20.
scoregami there. Yeah, the Rams just have Post Malone fallen apart. You saw the way they started the year. Aaron Donald, hey, it's comeback. I feel like I'm 40, but feel like I'm 20. Whatever. Not that Aaron's playing bad. I saw him literally split a double team and sack Dak Prescott off a play action early in the game. But the Cowboys, look like the Cowboys. Just the Rams defensively, man, it was like every third down, whether it's third and short, third and medium, third and long, the Cowboys were able to hit it. And it seems like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott had figured something out. Because every time I look every time red zone would pop on, they were throwing the ball to each other.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they need to figure it out, but it's my fault for betting on the Rams. I should have just bet against the Cowboys when the playoffs started. I mean, that's just me. If they're ever going to choke it, they're going to choke it in the playoffs. So if the Rams, I just don't get it. You come out, you get a couple sacks. I mean, I think Matthew Stafford got hurt. He got hurt early in that game.
With his thumb, you could tell.
You could tell something was wrong.
If you've ever hit your hand on a helmet, whether it's throwing, whether it's running by it, whether it's tackling, it's almost like hitting your shin. Like you just want to beat the hell out of something.
And if you're Aaron Donald, like, I'm trying to hashtag get out of here.
Didn't he had like 3 sacks in a row at the beginning of the game.
I'm trying to hashtag go play for a team that wins the Super Bowl.
Look, Aaron Donald's legitimate.
Aaron Donald to the Eagles?
Stop.
Would you stop? Okay.
Okay, I'm just saying. There's some whispers around the league.
Help. We don't need their
There's some whispers around the league.
Speaking of them, though, they held off the Redskins. I think I heard this right. A.J. Brown, NFL record with a 6th straight game over 125 yards.
Some of the contested catches he makes, he's huge and strong, but like his hand strength, it's incredible, man. Like, and it's not just the one-handed catches away from your body. It's the catching the ball while you're getting hit. It's the catching ball in traffic while a guy's hand is on the ball that you're catching, and you somehow maintain grasp of it all the way through the catch. He's incredible to watch. I mean, that offense with Devontae, with Dallas, with AJ, with Swift. I tell you what, and Jalen Hurts just continues to impress me. And I don't know if I've seen a quarterback, not against all odds, but from a development standpoint as a passer. He is one of the few that I've been like, all right, this guy, we talk about Joe Milton not having a ton of touch. That's hard to put in somebody. Jalen Hurts figured it out.
Yes.
Like that, very rarely do you see somebody that's a fastball thrower later on in their quarterback life be able to develop touch and things like that. I mean, Jalen's got the whole bag.
Honestly, to me, it starts with his character. You can just tell he's a man of high character, and he never, there was no quit in him. He continued to get better. That was something that I tried to do when I played football. I want every single season of football to be better than I was the previous.
Well, you can tell he's put in the work.
He really has. I wish him all the success in the world. Last couple here, Saints 38-27 over the Colts. That offense came on. Alvin Kamara, a couple TDs.
I'm starting to just think the Colts defense sucks.
I don't know where that came
from. You give up that many points to the Browns. You make the Saints look like it's, there's a Globetrotters on offense. Anybody want to cover Shaheed deep? He's got one move.
If I have to watch Taysom Hill come in and score another touchdown.
Why would you not? That's brilliant by the Saints. I'd put him in more.
I feel like the 49ers should use check the way the Saints use Taysom Hill. I feel like Juszczyk is one of the best players in the league who doesn't get used. I really do. And I mean, if you're the Saints, I mean, just where has this been? Like, where has this been as an offense? Because you got the pieces. Derek Carr came along. Michael Thomas had a pretty good game.
What's the offensive line?
Yeah, your offensive line's okay, but they're not terrible.
I mean, they've been terrible the whole year.
I think this team goes as Derek Carr goes. That's where if Derek Carr is going to play to a high level, they're going to be pretty damn good. They got the roster. I mean, they got the defense. You got all the pieces at receiver. You got Juwan Johnson back at tight end. You got the pieces to make a run. But what Derek Carr is going to show up on a Sunday is going to dictate how far the Saints go.
Broncos 24-9 over the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes playing a little sick.
Love it. Had the Sutton anytime touchdown that hit late too.
Nice.
No, big for the Broncos. They played shake it off at the end. Am I jumping off the cliff thinking, the Chiefs? I mean, Patrick Mahomes sick yesterday. Isn't it funny now how Patrick Mahomes has the flu? Nobody makes a big deal about it. There's no, oh my God, the world's going to end. But during COVID, if somebody had any illness, you'd have thought they'll shut the city down. Like, it's amazing now nobody even just, he has the flu, let's let him play. We're not worried about starting a pandemic.
It's unbelievable.
Isn't it unbelievable? Like how quickly in time that flips? Like it never even happened.
It's funny you say it because before I was looking at Kirk Cousins' stats on when the last time he missed a game was because he had the record for most consecutive starts or something. He had to miss a game for COVID.
Yeah, now Patrick Mahomes out there throwing up on everybody.
Was he throwing up yesterday?
I don't know, probably.
I don't know. Last one here.
Team was.
Giants-Jets, a cool New York matchup. Giants had this thing won. Missed a field goal. Zach Wilson hits this pass to get in field goal range at the last second. They tie it up, go to OT.
I had the Giants plus 3.5, thank goodness. But very few times do I feel bad for fans.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday, as that kick was going through the uprights, I felt for Turley.
Oh, yeah.
Our producer Justine's a huge Giants fan.
My day was ruined.
Yeah, I felt for you. First off, DeVito, you got a better chance having Danny DeVito out there playing quarterback. Even though he did keep that zone read, that was nice. But good God. I mean, goodness gracious, guys. The Jets, you let the Jets drive all the way down there? Zach Wilson hadn't done anything the whole game. Hadn't done anything the whole game.
Coming. Right when
Like,
you missed that field goal.
I mean, at some point.
Gano missed that field goal for the Giants.
Gano missed 2.
You can almost go
He
for
missed
it.
2.
And the play calling was
for it.
awful.
I'm just mad.
Well,
they
the
didn't
play
take
calling, what can you do? Like with
Better
DeVito
calls.
in there.
No, you can't do anything. With the DeVito.
Dabo played that perfectly. Gano missed the field goal.
I think you go for it, though, at the end.
It was raining.
No, you
already missed
exactly.
one.
You should
You already
go
missed
for it.
one.
You got to kick the field goal.
You've been
It's the
running. You
NFL.
ran the ball 37 times for 140 yards. You go get a damn yard, Dayball. That's who you are.
Yeah, it's
who you are.
I think he made the right call.
You got to make, because these days these NFL kickers can make it from the
Yeah, this isn't
So
a
if you don't get that,
game.
and like we saw, Zach Wilson completes one pass, gets in field goal range, they tie it up. You have to think you're not going to let Zach Wilson go down and score a touchdown, right? So if you go up by 6, you got to feel good about that.
I mean, yeah, but he already missed one. All right, wet game. Kind of.
Well, here's the thing: you don't kick it,
You got
and you don't
Saquon
get
Barkley.
it.
You got Saquon Barkley. You can't get a yard.
You don't. Well, have you seen the Giants?
Man, I've seen him not get a yard.
I've seen him not get a yard a lot. But
Saquon had 140 yards on the ground.
If you don't, how many carries do you have? 140.
He did have the most carries since 2017.
Yeah,
and then you don't run it.
If you don't get it right there, and you didn't kick the field goal, and then they go down and do it,
Now it's on you, Dayball.
Now it's on
because right now it's on Graham Gano.
Yeah, that's Graham Gano's fault. Brian Dayball made the right choice. Also, lines are opening here in about 4 minutes. Make sure you give us a call. Quickly, David, we got another World Series game tonight.
Man, yeah, we got Major League Baseball World Series tied a game apiece. First of all, let's just recap Game 1, which was just an epic game. Do we have the walk-off, the home run from the Rangers and Garcia?
Yeah.
Play this.
This dude, problem. Why pitch?
After
Walk
Seager,
him.
after Seager already hit a homer to tie it.
Yoo-hoo!
Here, let me.
That gets
Let
out.
me throw a 2-seam right down.
Come
the
on,
middle.
man.
That ball gets out.
Why
This
not
dude's
walk him?
incredible.
Why not? You have to walk him.
Well, dude, look, he's one muscle. He's just, it's like Trout. He's one muscle.
Yeah.
That's it. Just body muscle.
8th home run.
A walk-off home run in the World Series.
How do you not walk?
Hey.
Look, I still understand how you don't walk him. It's like when you're going against Shohei at the Angels.
Yeah.
You
That's
walk
why-
him
Especially when you're this
every
hot.
time.
Especially when you're this hot. Oh, boy, he's just scorching hot right now.
Then Diamondbacks came back, Game 2,
Beat him to
9-1
sleep.
victory.
Diamondbacks
Beat him
in
to
7.
sleep. Got
9-1.
Fod. You got Fod tonight.
Merrill Kelly threw that game.
Are you going to ladder the strikeouts tonight?
Duh.
You got Cat Eyes versus Fod. That one could hit. That one, if Scherzer's on,
We know you, Montgomery, you go through 6 innings, you give up 1 run, and
Yeah.
you strike out nobody? How does that even happen? I don't understand. You get no Ks. I mean, great outing. Obviously, you're a ground ball pitcher. I get it. But it's just sooner or later,
This is the
stars will
one.
align.
this is the
moon-
one
the
to
moon and
ladder.
the sun
Listen to
will
this
rise at
story
once.
for D-backs from Game 2. Tommy Pham, who went 4 for 4 in that game, gave his final at-bat to Jace Peterson so he could have an at-bat in the World Series. No player's ever gone 5 for 5 in the World Series. He had a chance to do that and gave up his at-bat to a teammate. The manager said, are you positive? Are you 100% sure? And he said, yeah, I want my teammate to get an at-bat.
No, I need that at bat. I need that at bat.
Look, it's a cool thing to do, but hey, buddy, I'm gonna need that stick.
Yeah. Hey.
This
hey,
is cool.
Jace.
Joe's gonna remember.
I mean, here's how this would go. Jace. Hey, man. Hey, toss me that donut.
Yeah, I'm like Jace. Look, if I
Toss
get
that
up there
donut. I need
for
to
a-
get one.
if I get up for a 6th at bat, you're still not.
No, here's
God,
the thing.
these guys are so
Here's
sentimental.
the thing. No, here's what we do. Hey, coach, listen. I'm going up there. If I get down to 0-2, pinch hit me. If I get down to 0-2,
It's like the power slap
I'm
thing.
sitting dead red. One pitch,
Yep.
one spot. If it's not it, then you can throw
like
Jace.
power slap. If I go up there and lose the coin toss, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, here we go. Give
outta
me
here.
another one.
Dude, get
All right. We're gonna get into right and wrong in 1 second, but I'll tell you what is right. Great skincare, whether you're male, whether you're female. Look, we got Christmas coming up. Men, trust me, this is a great gift. You want to get one? You want to cross one of those gifts off the list? I know you got them just like I do, right? You got that number again. You're trying to hit that number. Want to make sure they're all good? With our friends at Genucel, they have a new product. It's called Genucel 3. Everybody's talking about it. It takes away eye bags, puffiness. It disappears along with dark circles, fine lines, crow's feet, and it'll firm up your eye contour area, which helps everybody. Genucel 3 is smoother, more luxurious, and it uses advanced technology, not that old stuff, to deliver complex vitamins and minerals directly to your face for the instant hydration. It's like Gatorade for your skin. All right, how great is that? The new Genucel technology gives your skin longevity to keep you looking young and healthy for years to come. Our producer, Justine, loves using the Genucel under eye cream. All right, giving her a shout out. We have the new Genucel 3 product on the way so she can add this to her skincare routine. So when the Giants blow it against the Jets or whoever they play next, and she ages 6 years, she can reverse that by using Genucel 3. The Fall Classic package includes a jawline treatment too for a more firm neck and jawline. You want that superhero look? We know what has to happen. You go to genucel.com/booster. That's GENUCEL.com/booster. Or, new option, all right, call 800-SKIN-211 for for the 211 on extra discounts. This amazing fall package gets results in 12 hours or less. Immediate effects are included for free. That's genucel.com/booster. Or you can call 800-SKIN-211. That's 800-SKIN-211. Don't be afraid.
Get some skin in the game.
Get some skin in your game. Around your face. Booster Club before we get to calls.
All right, let's go to Broken Devil Dog. He wants us to know, apparently the last time the D-backs won the World Series, George Bush threw out the first pitch. George Bush threw out the first pitch in Game 1.
Really? They did that on purpose.
Who knows? All right, let's go to Chris. Hashtag Ask Cranico. Is Drake May 22's Will Levis all the hype but can't win games?
No.
I don't think
no.
so. Interesting comparison, though.
Yeah, I think Drake May is like Justin Herbert. That's who I think Drake May is like. I do believe, man, it's hard for me to. Well, I watched Will Levis turn the ball over a lot, unless I'm just losing my mind. I don't see Drake May turn the ball over a lot. I see Drake May make the right play pretty much every single time. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, honest question. How further along do you think Caleb Williams is? How far ahead of Drake May is Caleb Williams?
He will get picked before him. He's a little bit ahead of him with his ability to this throw off platform on the move. But I think Drake May's right there.
I think he's right there too.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm taking Drake May over Caleb Williams.
See, I don't think that's nearly as crazy as what some people will think.
No, I think Drake May is going to be a more polished NFL quarterback. I think Caleb Williams still runs himself into a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes, and we've been seeing that lately. So I think Drake May hasn't looked phenomenal, but Drake May from an arm talent standpoint, anticipation standpoint, the height, the arm strength, just the IQ level, the patience in the pocket. He looks like, I think you can plug Drake May in right now in the NFL, and he would be better.
We'll say one thing. Caleb Williams has had the benefit of only playing for Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
What would Drake May be looking like if he was playing for Lincoln
Breaking
Riley?
records, buddy.
Well, and Caleb Williams is doing that.
I know, true.
I mean, Drake May is thrown for 2,600 yards, completed over 65% of his passes, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, quarterback rating of 156.1.
Yeah, I think they got
40.
Josh Downs is gone in the NFL last year.
He doesn't have some of the weapons
late in the season.
At USC.
Look at the weapons that have been around Caleb Williams his career at USC. Hell, I just watched one of them for the Vikings who's balling out right now in Jordan Addison. So
by the way, since Tez Walker has come back, North Carolina's lost 2 games. Isn't that kind of crazy?
And he balled.
I
mean,
not saying it's his fault.
At least in the one.
It's just funny how that works. Everybody, wait till Tez Walker gets back. North Carolina's going to go to an even higher level. Comes back, they lose 2 games.
Let's go to Duck Fane Dane with the $2 donation. Ha ha ha! Giants are pathetic. Hashtag Go Jets. In your face, Turley.
That was a bad one.
I'm going to block that person.
Respect.
Let's go to Cody. He says Drake May getting picked over Caleb Williams is like Trubisky getting picked over Mahomes. Not even close.
Yeah, first off, I wouldn't disrespect Drake like that with Trubisky. Caleb Williams, I will say he's the closest thing to Patrick that I've seen.
But I like the Drake May Justin Herbert comparison.
I think they're exactly.
I think that's pretty good.
I think they're exactly. I think Drake may be a little bit more athletic running.
I think guy running around Baton Rouge. And not a lot of people are talking about
Daniels.
who could come in the NFL and cause some problems pretty quickly.
I think Jaden's got to gain.
I'm starting to think Bo Nix can have some success, too, at the next level, man.
I think he
go in
can.
and help a
I
franchise.
think he can for sure.
I'm looking around and seeing.
You're the
I
Giants.
think that kind of fits
Seeing
his
Zach
style
Wilson-
a little bit.
Bo Nix of the Giants?
He's going to help someone.
We'll see.
Could he have
We'll
the
see where
benefit of?
Giants
Could he
end
have
up.
the benefit of sitting behind a guy for a little bit? It seems like no one has that benefit anymore.
Well, I said like Jordan Love's like the last in
Yeah.
last of the Mohicans when it comes down to being able to sit.
All right, let's go to Eddie Sotero. What's up, Eddie? Says, what about Penix? Most teams have big Penix energy right now.
Look, I think Penix is going to be a really good NFL player.
Love Penix. Keep the injuries in mind, though.
Yeah,
Penix.
I think Michael Penix, when it comes down to, we always talk about touch, right? I was just talking about it a second ago with Jalen Hurts and how he learned it. Like, very rarely do you get a combination of Michael Penix who can throw the ball, can throw it 105. Like, he's like your closer that comes in, it's burning 103, but also has a really good changeup, like, and has good feel for it. He's just a complete passer. That's who Michael Penix is to me. And that translates to any level. I think in the NFL, it's actually going to help him out because it's not all going to just be on him, especially if, you know, if he's going high somewhere, that means the team's not very good or there was some big-time trade. I'm just very, very interested to see where Penix ends up. Because, like, to me, the methodology of, do you take Penix? Do you take Drake May? Because I think Caleb Williams is going 1. I don't think Caleb Williams makes it past number 1. So then it becomes Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, go down the list of who's available. Who are you taking between Michael Penix and Drake May if you're an NFL team? I mean,
I'm taking
at
Drake
Pro
May,
Day,
but-
he is going to Michael Penix is going to shred. Pro
Without
Day.
a doubt. I think he'll fall a little bit because of the injuries that he's had, which may end up being a good thing for him because he may fall to like a good team
Better
that
team.
doesn't need him right now, which we saw that with Brock Purdy and the 49ers, which I know we're going to talk about them some more later. Also, Sam Hartman's another one like that. Sam Hartman may kind of fall to a team that's really good who doesn't need him right now. So when he does get his chance, he's on a good team with good coaches, good coordinators sort of situation.
Falcons.
Well, John Edward Kluge says, what about Spencer Rattler?
Spencer, again, this
Where
is
does
the
Spencer
deepest
go?
quarterback
this
class.
this is the deepest quarterback class that I've seen.
Which is why
it
Shador
really is.
Sanders talking about, you know, should he
Stay.
come back, should he go? Like,
Stay.
I think it's almost a no-brainer at
Stay.
this point. to
Yeah, with Spencer Rattler, I mean, it's going to be nice for Spencer. But Spencer may be in that perfect spot where we were just talking about, where he kind of falls to somebody that's good enough, and then you don't have to just rely on him to be the whole team like it is at South Carolina. I think Spencer's got a chance to be a really, really good pro. Really, really good. I think he could be all pro. I think he may end up, and we're going to talk about the drafts and all that stuff, being a top 3, top 4 quarterback that comes out of this class in an absolutely loaded class. But I want to get to right and wrong. We got the phone lines open up too. I want to get to, so we'll buzz through this kind of quick. David, where were you right this week?
Where was I right? I'll take my dog picks from this weekend. I took West Virginia and Arizona both with my dog picks. Great showing by both teams. The West Virginia line on the money line was like plus 225, something like that. It was surprising to me just with the way they've been playing football. They did have to go on the road to Central Florida, but a big win, another big win for Neil Brown and that West Virginia team. Usually I like taking them a little bit more when they're at home with that home field advantage, but they've been traveling, winning football games, and then Arizona, they were at home.
Jed
The
Fish.
home field advantage. Jed Fish strikes again.
Another
man.
big win this
Huge
weekend.
Huge win in the Pac-12 out there for them.
Yeah, I hit both my underdogs too. Hit Louisiana Lafayette. Yeah, that's what I call them. They went down to South. I had to go against the alma mater, 11-point dogs. They win that one. And then Coastal at home. I know Grayson McCall was hurt last week against a Marshall team that struggled on offense without Ali. Both of them won. But no, that was a fantastic call on West Virginia. Knocked down a Hail Mary. Knocked down a Hail Mary. Look at where West Virginia is
against
right now. We talk about the Big 12 race, heating up now with Oklahoma losing. Where I was right, Oregon. Did not think this game was going to be close versus Utah. Against USC, Utah was able to do what they wanted to on offense with a backup quarterback with Bryson Barnes. I mean, they made him look like, the CEO of Barnes & Noble. But when you look at this Oregon team, I said the same thing when they played Washington. I think they're a complete team. Offense, defense, and special teams. You saw them get up to a point where Utah had to start trying to throw to get back into it. Utah just can't operate in that way. It led to 2 interceptions, and it kind of snowballed. I like Oregon to play Washington again in the Pac-12 championship. Very interested to see this Washington-USC game this weekend, David. I'm probably going to already go ahead and lock in that over before it gets up to 176. It's 76 right now. But was right about Oregon going and handling business at a Utah team coming off a big win against USC.
Yeah, that was a good call. I was with you in that, but I think I was right about Penn State. The week before I said I think they're a fraudulent top 10 team, and I think you saw that against Indiana. I think they have the talent, especially on defense, but I don't think Drew Aller is where a lot of people think he was, especially going in that Ohio State game. So I would say Penn State this weekend just because of what they showed you on the field. Penn State's known for what? Establishing the line of scrimmage, running the football, playing good defense, and not having busts. There's busts all over the field on defense. You got beat up on the line of scrimmage against the Indiana team who's won 2 games and beaten nobody. So where I was right this weekend, I would go Penn State. I don't know where they are ranked now, but they got to be out of the top 10.
Well, it's like, how can you expect when you haven't let Drew Aller do anything the whole year? Like they haven't pushed anything down the field. All I heard the whole week against when they were playing Ohio State was, oh, we've been saving this. Oh, we've been saving this. Oh, we've been saving this. Well, at what point are you not going to save it anymore? Like, goodness gracious, at what point are you going to be just abstinent your whole life? Right? They're the 40-year-old virgin on offense right now. They're just afraid to take a chance.
Well, if you're going to beat big teams, you got to take chances.
You've got to take chances, but you haven't. Again, you have protected Drew Aller and protected him and protected him and protected him. Then you want to wait halfway through the season against Ohio State to say, oh well, I guess we'll try and take some shots now. And then when the timing looks off, when there's no rhythm, you can form all the chemistry you want in practice. We know this. All the chemistry you want in practice. But a lot of the chemistry is formed during games when it is not an absolute, when it is not a protected or controlled environment, you being able to operate off each other. And Penn State had not done that. You go against Indiana, and we talked about it during the Sunday recap, not saying Indiana's the worst team of all time, but Penn State has no flow for the big play. They've got no flow. It is very protected. It is very small. Drew Aller looks so uncomfortable when he has to throw anything past 10 to 15 yards with the skill position players they have. And you're just not going to win that way. You're not going to beat Michigan that way. I can promise you.
You can't homeschool a kid for 8 years and send him to high school and expect it to be
the homecoming king.
You know, so I mean, you got to know what a guy's like when the bullets are flying. Practice is so scheduled. It's so just every little nuance thing is so on point. This play. You find out in the game. And I think Drew Aller has it. I think it's going to take some time. But sometimes you got to throw a kid in the fire and see if he rises to the occasion.
Where was I wrong?
Where are you wrong, Dave?
Southern California. I picked them as a lock to cover against Cal. I'm talking about a Cal team that scored 10 points against Auburn. I'm talking about a Cal team that lost by double digits to Oregon State, Utah, Washington. No, I'm just saying Auburn held them to 10 points.
Hey, don't worry, we can't believe it either.
Lincoln Riley and USC can't cover the 10 against them. But look, I thought that USC's defense may be subpar by championship elite team standards. They are subpar just by
any standards,
just by college football defense standards. And I'll tell you what, 50-49. We had the protesters out on the field before the game. What a time to be alive! 2023, baby.
Leave them out in the field, like Blaine said.
I had to play as Brian Cushion at USC. I know that they can get defensive talent at that school.
It's not a USC thing.
I'll
continue to say it's a Lincoln Riley, Alex Grinch thing. You know, you're right, because Oklahoma and USC, so much in common, right? You know, at what point, I'll say it on the show again, if somebody shows you who they are enough, you need to believe them. This is who they are. This is who Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch are. I don't know who Alex Grinch has pictures of, how he's still there, and he'll still probably be there next year. But where I was wrong, I thought Florida was going to hang around a little bit more with Georgia. I picked Georgia to win, but I thought there was a decent chance that Florida was going to be able to cover the 14.5. That was not true. They got and Florida scored first.
Yeah.
Ball right down the field. You're like, oh, well, here we go. It's about what we thought. Graham Mertz, you know what I'm saying, is playing, punching above his weight the whole year. But Georgia scores 10 in the first, 16 in the second, 10 in the third, score every quarter, just blitzed them. Without Brock Bowers, you want to talk about the scariest thing we saw all weekend? And I know Florida's not world beaters. Nobody's accusing Florida of being that, but they're better than what people thought, including myself. But Georgia playing like that, watching Delp make catches like that, watching some of these guys on the perimeter make plays like that. But what should worry you most? Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey look awfully healthy. Haru the Great White Ninja. And Brock's going to be back. Brock will be back come championship. Best believe that. I don't know a lot, right? I don't, once you start putting different letters in math and start adding and dividing it, I don't get it. But I do know this, all right? And I've never walked a tightrope in my life. Brock Bowers will be back. And when he's back and this team is humming, it's going to be like giving Optimus Prime another flaming sword. Carson Beck, we going to start saying Heisman now? We're going to start talking Heisman with Carson Beck, shovel face?
Ladd McConkey's just a faster Hunter Renfrow.
I like that.
That's what he is. And that's deathly terrifying. If you think about it. All right, where I was wrong. would take some heat for this one. I would say Kirk Cousins. All right.
Really?
No, he got hurt. All right. I call Kirk Cousins on this show all the time. And I need to give him a little more credit. He's a little bit above mid. A little bit above. All right. Kirk's a good player. He's a good quarterback. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome home.
Thank you. He's a good quarterback.
Better than Dak?
Show it. Is he better than Dak? Yes.
Take me now, Lord.
I will say that. He's better than Dak.
Take me now.
Kirk, I feel for you, man. Get healthy. Come back.
It only took him
I don't
tearing
want to
his
see
Achilles.
this be your last game.
Achilles club.
I don't want to see meet you and Aaron.
Wow. That's what it is, isn't it?
3 years.
Achilles club.
Now we're
3
bros.
years.
Now we're bros.
What a great way to get us to calls.
Wow.
What a great way to get us to
Well,
calls.
why don't we start with Ben in Missouri? Ben, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys. I know I'm a homegrown Missouri boy when it comes to college football, but when it comes to the NFL, you might know that I go against the grain. And for now, I need to cautiously invite Vance Joseph back onto my lawn.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's really, because after they gave up 812 points to the Dolphins in like week 2, I thought people were going to start showing up at his house.
Really grown up of you.
Ben, on a scale of 1 to shocked, how surprised were you that the Broncos won that game, even with the sick Patrick Mahomes?
I thought we had a chance going into it, but I didn't go into that game expecting us to win. I thought the Broncos were going to do what they normally do, which is play some decent defense, have a lead for 3 quarters, and then find a way to make a mistake. Because last year Russell Wilson had a fumble that they took back for a touchdown, and then they end up winning by like 6, right? So we've always lost these one possession games against the Chiefs, and all these Chiefs fans out here are acting like they win by 3 scores. And
well, what I was going to say, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like it was going to be one of those games that adds to the legend of Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's got the flu. Oh, it's cold. It's nasty outside. It's at Denver. It's a clunky game between 2 teams, and Patrick Mahomes, while he's throwing up on the field, getting IVs, trying to stay hydrated, not be sick, leads a touchdown drive at the end, or a drive to kick a field goal to win it. But the Broncos just dominated. Just dominated the game.
Look, go ahead, man.
He didn't even get in the end zone. It reminded me of that Super Bowl that I loved against Tampa when he just got mercilessly beaten, and it was fun.
Yeah. Well, as a guy in Missouri that's not a Chiefs fan, I'm sure you have to hear it from all sides.
Taylor Swift will be the downfall of the Chiefs.
So we're going here.
I love it.
Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. So anything less, it's her fault. All right? It is. She will be the downfall of the Chiefs.
All the Chiefs fans were like, oh, we took our attendance for granted and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh, you just wait until they inevitably break up, and you're going to have a whole generation of girls.
Oh, it's going to be the worst.
You better hope it's not in the playoffs either.
Yeah, well, guess what,
Where's Travis at? He's over there getting the vaccine crying on the bench.
Yeah, well, he's like, I'd be careful what you tell her.
Yeah.
I'd just be careful what you tell her.
Might be a song.
Wouldn't be a lot of pillow talk.
Travis song?
Yeah. It's somehow like he's going to join Jeff and Drew and Trevor and everybody else she's made a song about.
He caught balls. I caught his.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, Blaine, your earlier point, I just looked while you were talking. Penn State is ranked 9, so they're still in the top 10. And then the
disgusting
line for the Missouri-Georgia game here is Georgia 16 even, and the over-under 56.
Oh, we're gonna have a preview of that. I can't wait.
How about Russell Wilson? Yeah. 12 of 19, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions on 114 yards.
That's the weirdest stat.
Well, that's the weirdest stat.
Really Russell
and they
Wilson
rushed for 153, man.
Brilliant performance.
This is what happened. Look, this was having a good defense gets you. You're going to be in every game, every week, unless you play the Dolphins.
We appreciate it, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks. Yeah. Let's play the track team.
Yeah.
United States track team.
Great cover of Dolphins.
Thanks, buddy. All right, let's go to Chase in California. Chase, what's up?
What's up, guys? Chase. I've been doing it my whole life.
Oh, yeah, got to. That's the only option.
All right, so I will first go ahead and eat my crow. I know everybody out there is already knowing this, but I did not have Oklahoma pegged to lose that game.
Yeah.
All game.
I thought it was going to be
credit where credit's due to Kansas.
I thought it was going to be tight, but I thought Oklahoma would find a way, and they almost did at the end. I mean, it's
that's
but
what
Lance
said.
Leopold, I mean, damn it, how many times, Lance? How many times are you going to do it before we start
Yeah,
believing?
if I'm Oklahoma,
I
can we just
believe.
not play Kansas? Is there any way we can work around
Just click
this
your heels together and get the hell out?
COVID game? We don't feel great.
I'm telling you, that new Big 12 is in for some fun having to deal with those guys.
And not just
Thank
Lance
God we
Leopold,
don't have to
Jason
deal with
Bean
them
too.
anymore.
How many times does this kid have
Jason
to
Bean's
fill
been a
in?
backup quarterback at Kansas for 30 years.
Yeah.
It seems like every time, because Jalen Daniels gets hurt every 3 or 4 games.
That's a top 5 quarterback room in the country, I feel like.
I don't think you're crazy.
Yeah,
Top,
maybe top
they said
10,
his
but
record on the broadcast, his QB record, and I think the total games was like 33.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the? What
he
the
has
hell?
played in more games as a backup quarterback than any backup quarterback in the history of football.
Yeah, that was exactly what I said.
it's like being Jimmy G's backup. You're going to play.
Yeah. You're the starter.
I have to ask you guys about the Jeff Levy situation. I wasn't a big fan of the game, the call in the game this weekend, and I understand that being an offensive coordinator, that comes with the territory. It's easy for a fan to sit there and say, didn't like that call or did like that call. But I think that Jeff's going to have to get some things figured out here in the next 5 weeks. And when I say that, I mean, like, getting everybody to have confidence in him going into the SEC, because granted, our offense has been good this year. We have had now 3 different games where our offense struggled, and really it shouldn't have.
Well, here's what I'll say, Chase. It's maybe this is coming from a place where we scored 27 points against Mississippi State, and I'm super excited about it. But let me read you just the number. And I see what you're saying. There's a very high standard with this Oklahoma offense. I get it. But let's read the amount of points that Oklahoma scored. 73, 28, and whatever SMU, 66, 20, 50, 34, 31, 33. I get that the pick six hurt against Kansas. I get that you feel like you should score a lot of points against a Kansas defense. I understand that. But when I looked at this game, and it felt to me that Oklahoma defensively tackled so poorly in space, and the communication was so bad in the secondary that minus the pick six, I thought the offense played well enough to win. I mean, you rushed for 150 yards. Dylan Gabriel didn't throw for a touchdown pass. I thought the red zone play calling, there could be some questions about that. But this looked like, and we talked about it on the Sunday recap, old Oklahoma defensively can't tackle in space. Anybody that operates with any kind of tempo on offense, it seems like Oklahoma can't get lined up or wind up right. It felt like they reverted a little bit, kind of like the way Texas defensively looked like they reverted against Oklahoma. So I think there's plenty of blame to go around for this one. I don't know how you overlook this Kansas team after what's happened in the past. Maybe it's because you just got scared to death by UCF, which you think would hone you in. But then you look at this next week, Oklahoma State, that game's looking a lot different than what it looked like the past couple weeks with what Ollie Gordon's doing. So I can understand a little bit, Chase, but I feel like it's a little bit more wholesome than just the offense.
Yeah, no, I can get behind you. I definitely, like I said, I understand that there's, the blame goes all the way around for this game this weekend. But it was just, there was the 3, I'll give you really quickly the 3 glaring ones. You hit the first one, right, with the pick six. Yep. You come out, you throw the incomplete pass on first down. You gash them up the middle for 8 with Sawchuk. 3rd and 2, you line up and you run for those 2 yards again.
I get that. I get that. We talked about that on Sunday.
There was also, if you watched, he did the Jalil Farouk at running back thing an awful lot when Tawee Walker had 150 yards on the day.
Yeah.
Don't know why we're putting running backs in or wide receivers at running back. And then the worst one for me, Jake, the one that I think, like I said, I understand that I got to get to a clear head, but the one that really put me over with Levy on Saturday and has had me mad at him still to this point, Ethan Downs gets you a pick with 2:20 left in the game. All we need is a first down, my man. That's all we need is a first down. Mm-hmm. Not only do we not get that, but the drive you put together as our OC is 3 plays, -2 yards in 24 seconds.
Yeah, if you're going to get -2 yards, you better make sure you run some of that clock. I will say, having said all that, Chase, to kind of put a bow on it, Oklahoma had that game in their 2 hands on defense or an interception
They
and
did.
dropped it.
And it's not an excuse, but you look at not having Gentry Williams to start, and then Stutzman goes out mid-game.
That was
you
huge.
Could see that kind of thing coming, but it's not an excuse. I'm not trying to say it's an excuse. I'm just saying,
look, Chase, I think you make some valid arguments.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah, I think you make some valid arguments.
I'm waiting for Oklahoma and Oklahoma fans to become a defensive mindset school. Mindset.
See this weekend.
Like how you can, if you're a fan and call in and have a problem with this offense performance, but you scored 30+ points. I mean, you gave up 230 on the ground. You need to walk in this. How can we get better? I'll never question Jeff Levy from an offensive play calling standpoint. Jeff can do it. All right, if you score 30+ points in a game, you should win that football game. So you need to start reverting to what can we do on defense to get better.
Well, Brent's trying to get him there. I will say the pick six, we got to remember that too. I mean, in reality, that pick six ended up being the difference in the game. But I do agree with Chase.
Yep.
Second and two, we got to run it. Third and two, one of the two downs. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Second and two is a great play action down.
Gashed him for 8 and then tried to throw that wide.
We can't give up 6 yards a carry. That's what we can't do. We can't give up 230 yards on the ground.
No, I agree with that.
That's what we can't do. That's how you lose a lot of football games.
Oklahoma State's coming in with a running back
that's
rushed for 500 yards the past 2 weeks.
I'm telling you right now, I would not be shocked if Ollie Gordon breaks Samaje Perine single-game rushing record.
I'm taking the over in that game, buddy. You can best believe that.
I am scared absolutely to death right now for that.
Appreciate it, Chase.
Chase, great call, buddy.
Great call, Chase.
Chasing those mills.
Call in next week. All right, let's go to John in Mobile, Alabama. John, what's up?
Jan.
It's a pleasure once again to be speaking to the most elite trio in sports media.
Goodness gracious.
251.
John,
How much
can you
did
just
I
please
pay
just
for
speak
that?
that? Somebody quilt that in a pillow.
Brick Squad.
Jake, I want to say that I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, but I appreciate you owning up to being wrong on your take on my Georgia Bulldogs and how they were going to perform against the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
I tried telling you even before Georgia's bye week that Georgia was going to send a message against Florida, and that message was Bowerless does not equal powerless.
Oh, God. Put it on us. Bars.
John, there's bars.
Terminator mode has been activated for my dogs, except they make the T1000 look like a darn Tickle Me Elmo. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm looking at this Missouri game, and earlier caller mentioned the line 15.5 or 16, depending on where you can get it. And I'm telling you guys, it's not nearly enough. Lock it up. The Bulldogs are going to crush the Tigers in Athens.
Hey, here's what I'll say, John. Number one, I've been a staunch Georgia defender throughout this whole season, but I did think that Florida, with nothing to lose, with Carson Beck not having Brock Bowers, didn't know how healthy Ladd really was. I tell you what I was the most impressed with, though, and I think it shows you this team's maturity. Florida, again, can play free. You always have expectations of Florida, and there's a high standard, but I don't think anybody would fault them if this was a close game and Florida lost with what Billy and them have done. Florida comes out, goes right down the field and scores, really doing what they want and scoring how they want. Georgia, without Brock Bowers, did not panic on offense, did not panic on defense, did not panic on special teams, and they thoroughly kicked their ass for the rest of the game. If I was a opposing fan, if I was anybody but a Georgia fan and my team had a chance to win it, what would scare me most was the maturity that I saw once they gave up that opening touchdown from Georgia, because that tells you something. That tells you that this team learned from their predecessors. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. I did think Florida had a good chance to cover. Not wrong a lot, but I was wrong on that one, John. Your dogs. I tell you what, Brock's coming back too.
John, I was in the boat with you, baby. Don't forget that. We're swimming together.
John, are they going to three-peat?
Ooh,
you know what to say,
that's
John.
a tough one. There's some tough competition out there, but I will tell you this, okay? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen this week, all right? The playoff committee is going to release their initial rankings, and Georgia is not going to be number one. And we saw what happened last year when the Dogs got snubbed in the initial
Kirby's
ranking,
praying for that.
The opportunity.
Yeah.
They actually had the opportunity to play the number one team the very next weekend. And the number one offense in Tennessee walked into Sanford Stadium and left with 13 points.
Yeah.
And Missouri ain't no Tennessee from last year. I can promise you that. Darth Kirby has taken over the Senate, and Missouri is looking like a bunch of younglings right now. So lock up the Bulldogs. They are top 10 in every category on offense and defense, and they are the number 1 team in third down conversion rate in the country.
Yeah, well, all they live in 3rd and 2, which is a great way to live. So if you're saying Kirby, Darth Kirby is now taking over the Senate, has he been watching Eli Drinkwitz's career with great interest?
Maybe.
I heard he has.
Look, they're only supposed to win 7 games, guys. So like,
it's amazing what they're doing
Man,
with this 7-5 roster.
Appreciate it, John.
John, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks.
All right, let's go to Dane in the Pacific Northwest. Dane, how you
Never
doing?
lets us know where he really is.
Born in the dog.
Yeah. So I have a question. Do you think that the Big 12 is out of the playoffs now?
You're 1 loss away.
I do. I personally do.
You're one. Here's the thing. If Texas wins out, and regardless of who they play in the Big 12 championship, I think there's Texas or Oklahoma wins out. I think there's a good chance they get in. But do either one of those teams win out? I mean, Oklahoma's got Oklahoma State.
I mean, yeah, and
you've got West
Quinn
Virginia
Ewers
at
is
home
out
at BYU.
Too. Like Quinn Ewers being out adds into this.
Kansas State at home this week.
Oklahoma and Texas go undefeated. I don't think they make it in.
Yeah, because think about it. You'd need Oregon and Washington. Like, you could have the same situation in the Pac-12 with Oregon and Washington having a rematch.
Like, it's either
you need Florida State to lose.
Or, like, Oregon looks like maybe the best team in the nation right now, in my opinion.
I think you could make an argument for that. I'm still going to say Michigan. The question you got to ask yourself is, all right, let's run Michigan's returned so many players. See, that's the difference, right? I know who Michigan is because I watched these same guys play for the last 2 years. They basically brought everybody back and added to it in the portal, and they've lost 2 different ways in the playoff. I don't need Michigan to prove to me who they are because I've seen them, right? They've got tape that's stocked in. This Georgia team with Carson Beck, yeah, they brought some people back, but I'm still having to figure out who they are, and early returns look pretty good. Oregon, they returned a ton of experience. I've got a good idea who Oregon is, so I think you can make a logical argument for it. The question becomes, if we're going to talk about does a team out of the Big 12 make it? Let's say a Big 10 team goes undefeated. Let's say whether it's Michigan or Ohio State, right? They're in. Let's say Florida State goes undefeated, which is likely, right? Pretty likely. They still got to play Miami, still got to play Florida. Those 2 guys are in. If Oregon runs the table the rest of the way, or if Washington runs the table the rest of the way and they win the conference championship game, they're in. That's 3. So then it comes down to 1 more. The question you ask yourself is, does Georgia go undefeated or not? That's the question, because I think the most intriguing part is, let's say Texas wins out, beats Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, right? They're 12-1 overall. All right, but you look and all of a sudden LSU beats Alabama, runs the table, beats Georgia in the SEC championship. Does a 2-loss LSU get in over a 1-loss Texas?
I don't think so. I think an undefeated or a 1-loss SEC champ makes it in, except if we're looking at a 1-loss Alabama team who runs this table here and wins the SEC championship, beats, let's say, Georgia in the conference championship. If they're up against Texas, if they're up against the same Texas team that runs the table with 1 loss and they lost a head-to-head at home, the committee cannot have Alabama.
That's true.
That's
David.
just something to keep in mind down the stretch here.
I just think the SEC, I think Alabama's out after this weekend.
I don't think you're crazy saying that. I think LSU's got a chance to win it.
Like, my thing is Tennessee put up 20 in 1 half with that defense, and Tennessee is nowhere near the offense of LSU. I don't know if Georgia is going to go undefeated, but I think they're going to be the champions. If the ACC is not undefeated, Florida State, I think the Big 12 makes it, but
see, like, who do you? Well, you say that. I mean, I can look at the ACC and make a good argument that the ACC is better than the Big 12.
Yeah, but like, okay, you say that, but who do we have Louisville, and I think
Louisville. I'd say North Carolina, even though I'd say Miami's a tough out. I think I just look at the Big 12. I mean, I think it's about. if we're going to look at two conferences that are somewhat even, who in the Big 12 outside of Texas? I mean, you could say Kansas State is a little scary. Kansas is a little bit scary, but nobody's scarier.
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, but yeah, but I mean, who are you going to take in a neutral site? Oklahoma State, or are you going to take Louisville? You know, I mean, I think they're comparable.
But that's the wrong question to ask. The question to ask would be, are you taking Oklahoma or Louisville? Because Louisville is the second best team in the conference.
Well, on a neutral site, I mean, I think we can. I think we can sit here and have an argument. I mean, Duke with a healthy Riley Leonard. I mean, I think you give Oklahoma a run for their money, to be honest with you. So I'm not disagreeing with you or saying you're wrong, Dane. I just don't think we should automatically say Big 12 is better than the ACC. I think there's a legitimate argument that those may be the two most even conferences when you look at top to bottom, depth-wise in the country.
I just look at I guess I'm assuming Texas would beat Oklahoma if they played again, so I would say that they would make it because they.
I agree with you. I've got Texas in the playoffs still.
It's amazing that we're talking about the ACC strengths without even mentioning Clemson right now.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, that speaks well to the ACC.
Well, Clemson,
these teams.
They're going to have a losing record after this weekend.
Well, Dad was doing this on purpose, guys. We talked about this.
Yeah, Devin said they needed to lose
a couple guys.
He needed to lose
off
a couple.
the bandwagon, all right? You got to get
see how that goes for
Shun the non-believers.
Yeah.
Don't forget about those two championships. Right?
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Dane.
Thanks, Dane. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah. All right, we got Steve up in Ohio. Steve, how you doing, man?
Stevie.
Hey.
What's up, Steve?
What's up, dude?
Hey, I'm calling about the Booster Club tailgate this weekend.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, and Jake, I know you saw my board this morning.
Yeah, the donation board. I love it.
Yeah, so, and here's what I did, because I didn't put the players on the board yet, but I picked one player from Auburn, one from that team up north, and one from Ohio State. So there's one that's near and dear to all of us.
I love it.
All right, and then did you see what the wager is going to be also, Jake?
What is that? Tell me again.
Okay. Now, to win this win, you got to go 4 for 4.
Okay.
On my Who Did What. Okay, and if all of you go 4 for 4, I'll do a $100 donation on Monday's show.
Wow. Love it.
Okay.
Steve, who's the player?
So that's this weekend, huh?
See, that's...
Okay. And if only 2 of you go 4 for 4, I'll do a $50 donation. And if only one of you goes 4 for 4, I'll do a $10 donation.
Steve, we're all going 4 for 4.
If none of you go 4 for 4, you have to display a sign in the studio that says, "Be more like Steve."
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Be a Bestever.
I mean,
deal.
It doesn't matter who goes 4 for 4. I'm going to give you the sign anyway.
Yeah.
Oh. No, that'll be great, Steve. We're looking forward to it.
Who's the Auburn player, Steve?
Don't tell him,
Who's
Steve.
the Auburn player?
Yeah.
You'll find out. You'll find out.
Yeah,
Saturday.
selfish,
now,
Steve.
I know Cody from Illinois is in the chat, and he knows who the players are. But Cody, do not give it away.
I'll get it out of
Cody.
Cody.
I'll get it out of Cody.
Let's play a game called Do You Want 20%?
Yeah. How much you love the house that you built?
Thanks,
right,
Steve.
Thanks,
See you this
buddy.
weekend. You guys want one more?
Yeah, let's go one more.
All right, Hunter in Arkansas. We got 30 seconds, brother.
All right, I'll simplify this. It's Bedlam week. I was really hoping Chase was gonna talk ish, but he's sad that Kansas beat him. But Ollie Gordon is about to have a Heisman moment this weekend. He's gonna go for like 250 and at least 3 touchdowns.
Isn't that a great name? Isn't like great names just in
Ollie
sports
Gordon
it works?
III.
Ollie Gordon, I'm like, yeah, he's good. I could tell you he's good. It's like Chipper Jones. Yeah, he's good.
And we're gonna chase him out of the Big 12 and give him a nice going away present. A big fat L of the Big 12.
That's
Bedlam.
Hey, that's
I can't
right, dude. I forgot. That's the last time Kansas and Oklahoma. Kansas sent him out.
Never forget. Never forget.
Wow.
You get to talk ish for the rest of the time.
For the rest, we're never scheduling you again.
No.
If I'm Kansas, we're
Done.
never scheduling Oklahoma again.
No.
Ever. I don't care, even if there's a fire.
Man, this one this weekend, though, I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Hey, I do it. Hey, Hunter, real quick. Oklahoma State the over. I think it's at 63 right now. I would be crazy not to bet that, right?
Yeah, you'd be crazy.
Okay. All right, good.
I think
just want to hear
I think
somebody
it's
else
going to
say
be. I think it's going to be 31-24. Final score.
So then I am crazy to bet the over. Golly, Hunter, you're over here giving me mixed signals, man.
Oh, gotcha, dude.
Which are you playing trick? You plotting on me?
You thought.
Hey, call in next week, Hunter.
Yeah, call in next.
I want to hear about this after the game.
For sure. Let me make sure that I was right on that over real quick. 62. Oh, it's down to 5.5. Golly.
Appreciate it, Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks,
Is Seth still on the line? Is there any shot Seth is still on the line? Seth, 30 seconds, man. We're rolling right here. I wanted to get to you.
All right, gentlemen. I have self-revoked my man card, and I need some advice.
Oh, dude.
Lord.
I don't like
Here we
that.
go.
Glad we got to this one.
What happened?
Well, both of my sons, 7 and 5-year-old, are playing basketball.
Okay.
And during my 7-year-old's game, one of his teammates scored a goal, and my 5-year-old shouted, "Touchdown." And it gets worse. It gets worse.
It's Seth.
We told their grandmother about this, and she asked my 7-year-old and said, "Are you going to score a touchdown tonight?" And she said, "Mimu," that's what they call their grandmother. "Mimu, I don't play. I play basketball, not baseball."
Oh, okay.
All right, Seth.
Meeting.
All right.
We can fix
yeah,
this.
listen, here's what we need to do. We need to have a re-education camp.
It's called a come to Jesus meeting. That's what we used to call it back in our house.
Yeah, we need to sit down and play a game called Everybody Needs to Be Honest for a second.
There needs to be a whiteboard involved.
Seth, I know how to fix this, all right?
I'm a Vol fan. I'm a Titan fan, Predators fan. I love watching sports. I listen to you guys almost every day. I would love for them to be able to watch sports with me, but I just don't want them to get beat up.
Yeah, no, look, you're being a great father. Do we need to make the kids' content show that
Here's the thing. You said you watch us nearly every day. Do your sons, though? All I heard from what you just said is that your sons aren't watching Crane & Company every day. That's all I got.
Point,
we will put in a 3-minute ABC segment just for those two if we have. That's how much we care about.
I thought the NFL, you can watch the Toy Story games. On Sundays, which a lot that's for the kids.
Nobody trying to watch a Toy Story game.
Well, if you're 7 and 5, you probably are.
Not if you're really
Sunday, look, it's an easy fix. It's 8 hours of red zone.
It's got hits in your face.
Baby, that's it. You put him in front of that one time. I mean, no tablet, none of that. We're watching this for 8 hours.
Hey.
You immediately got it figured out.
All of a sudden, why is my son hanging out with Sean McVay?
Yeah, he's drawing up an
You know
over.
how I know Seth is a great father, though? He cares enough to call in here to fix this problem. He identified the problem, called in here to solve it. You know how many people would just let this go?
Yeah.
Just let this go as if nothing happened.
Next thing you know, they're playing.
Seth is calling in here at 7 in the morning.
Next thing you know, they're playing soccer in high school.
Don't go there.
I'm just saying. If you don't bite this early,
I will drown you in this.
If you don't bite this early, they're out there kicking balls and speaking French.
It. Don't talk about Seth's sons like that.
Seth, you got to bite it early. Seth, we're going to fix this. We got this. Don't worry.
Got to cut.
Hey, guess what? Tomorrow, I'm going to give your sons a speech. How about that?
I love it.
That'll do it.
I appreciate it. Hey, only a quarter of people watching have clicked the like button. I need you guys to stick around. We need to help the algorithm out, keep these guys on the air.
Yeah, hit the like button. Thank you, Seth.
Appreciate it, brother. Glad we got to that one.
All right, yes. Also, I want to give a shout out to our boy Sean Ketstever sent in.
Sean.
We got a Washington State flag here.
Figure it out.
Got a Washington State flag here. Is it upside down still?
Got it right the first time.
All right, it was right the first time. Going to put this up, and then Oregon State.
There they go.
The Beavs.
There they go.
Damn up.
Look at that.
That's exactly right. All right. You want to read these donuts? I'm asleep. My foot's asleep.
All right. Let's go to Chris Walton. $2 donation. Is Beck a Heisman finalist? And where will he go if he gets drafted?
If he keeps winning, yes.
Where do you think he go if he gets drafted? What round are we talking about?
Carson Beck?
Carson Beck?
He's not going. He's not leaving.
Well, let's just play. Let's play the
game. Let's play a little game.
Fourth round.
What round?
Fourth.
All right, let's go to Colson Duggins, $5 donation. Says, Levis reminds me of Joe Milton. Hits eye-popping plays and overthrows everyone else. I think Willis is a better long-term answer. Am I crazy?
Jury's still out. I've got to see Will more than coming in one game against the Falcons and hitting wide open DeAndre Hopkins 3 times. Not saying Will did anything wrong. I'm happy for him. I've just got to see it over time.
Let's go to Max Destruction. Ken, $10 donation. Happy to see my D-backs shake off a pitching mistake in Game 1. Additionally, going to Game 1 was the greatest moment of my sports life.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
Yeah, I'm going to say the kick 6. Greatest moment of my sports life ever. But, look, the Diamondbacks did what they had to do on the road. You got to grab one.
All right, let's go to UT Parking. Make sure you pay for that. $5 donation. Texas had 8 first and second years players on defense play very well. The arrow is pointing up, and it feels good in the bloodstream.
Yeah, look, Texas had one game where they reverted back to their old selves on defense. I think this is the new Texas.
All right, let's go to Duck Fane Dane, $2 donation. Hilarious. Oklahoma is eliminated Big 12 from the college football playoff.
I wouldn't say that just yet.
All right, let's go to, see what we got left. Ethan Andrew, $5 donation. Appreciate it, E. P.N. Sewell is about to pull a Paul Sewell?
P.N. Sewell.
No, Paul Sewell.
Okay.
I think he's pitching. He's about to pull a Randy Johnson and win a World Series with the Diamondbacks right after leaving the Mariners.
Look, golly. You remember this, Randy Johnson. If you didn't get to see Randy Johnson pitch, like it's just electricity. All right, I'm going to take the Diamondbacks money line tonight, -110, to be able to win at home. I know it seems like the road teams win every game. Then I'm going to take the Lions -6.5, bought that down at -137 at home against the Raiders.
Game 3, World Series. Nerfy, no runs in the first inning. Let's see if Max Scherzer can have a better outing. That's at -105. And then I want the Lions total team points over 27.5, -110.
All right, give me the Lions, the Gumball Smuggler, money line, and the over at 46.5. That's going off at a dirty +130. And give me J-Mo. First touchdown scored, big play. Amon St. Brown, Sun God, sickness. The sickness is going
he out
around right now. Questionable.
Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Walking in this game, I looked.
No. I have the TTP.
I looked like the first touchdown scored, and Amron's not there. Panic. J-Mo,
Jameer?
Ghost. Maybe Jameer. Jameer got a lot of action last week with Montgomery out.
God, I don't know. It feels like Laporta to me. Ace, he's going to take the Lions -6.5. He's right there with me at -137. Then the Rangers money line. Not dumb to take the road team in this series at -110. All right, what else we got?
All right, a couple more donations. Taylor Russell, $2 donation. Who left the fridge open?
Yes.
Again. Go Dogs, baby. Woohoo! Let's go to Chris Walton, $5 donation. Need a live on campus Crandon Coast show on Saturdays at a kids sports show on Bent Key. Someone get Ben and Jeremy on the phone and
We'd make a great kids
happen.
Kids like
They're
explaining
not
what is
letting
it.
me do
Think
it.
about it, like explaining football. What happens? First down.
All right, let's go to last one. Colson Duggins, $5 donation. I don't think Titans have given Willis enough opportunity. Look great in the preseason, but I was played all of one quarter.
I would just preach patience with this whole quarterback situation. The Titans. I wouldn't get too far over my skis when it comes to Will Levis. Look, I hope Will Levis balls out. I hope the Titans figure it out. I
just don't want anybody who puts mayonnaise in their coffee to ball out. I just don't think it's good for society.
I'm just Pac-12'd up right now.
We need more characters.
You can tell.
Do we?
I'm like a Pac-12 superhero.
You sure? I think we need less characters.
You might be right on that.
Do their job.
All right, let's get to the poll.
Who wins Saturday? LSU or Alabama?
They're going to say Alabama, 59%.
Alabama, 58%.
Good for you. Alabama, 53.
Really?
Yeah, tight.
LSU, like a toy guy, 47%.
A lot of people must start believing it. I love the over, and that's 100%. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. Good job in the chat. Keep your feet hot. Got a live show for you again tomorrow. Very excited. Make sure you come hang out with us. Keep sharing the show. We really appreciate it. And like the chances of Ryan Tannehill being the best option at quarterback in Nashville, wow, I'm getting really good at that. We're gone.